Terri, are you guys still are you still coaching the ladies?
We're still coaching the ladies, and we're live, Mr. Dermontti Dawson.
All
Yes, I'm still
right, all
coaching the
right.
ladies. What's up, everybody? Welcome to Hits and Heels. Thank you for tuning in. My name is Coach Terri Bryant. I'm out of Lexington, Kentucky, home of the University of Kentucky Wildcats.
You
And of
got it.
course, I got one of my all-time favorite Hall of Famers, Mr. Dermontti Dawson of the Pittsburgh Steelers. Of course, he's got the jacket. He was from here in Kentucky. He's with the Lexington African American Sports Hall of Fame. Went to Bryant Station High School. Also played at the University of Kentucky. And Dermontti, thank you so much for being on. And y'all's favorite Coach Bryant is on the way, and
Yeah,
he'll
well,
join
you
us
tell
in a minute.
Cisco, come on out of there. Come on out there. I know he's trying to
He's
get putting
coming.
makeup on,
I don't know what he's doing.
trying to get
But
camera
Dermontti,
ready.
to answer your question, yes, I for those that don't know, I coached a women's team here in the Kentucky, the Derby City Dynamite. I took a step back, and now I'm on the admin, but I'm still on the staff, and it's
Okay.
the only women's team in this, or actually the only pro team in the state of Kentucky that has brought the state of Kentucky a national championship. They won the D3 championship a couple years back. Then they followed that up and lost by 1 point in the D2 championship game, and so now they're on course of trying to get back to that point. And they actually play at the Hall of Fame field in
All right.
July. And so I'm excited about them. And then I just became the first female um, offensive coordinator in the state of Kentucky, working at a school. And so I'm excited about that. We got our first win last week.
All
Coach Bryant
right.
made me that. But listen, Dermontti, it ain't about me today. It's all about you today.
Oh
Go
yeah.
ahead
Well, I
and
was
where,
just
I
wondering.
don't know. Where do you want to start? Where do you
Well,
want to
we
start?
can
Do you
talk
want to
about
start at
anything.
Bryant Station? Because I try to get try to get Coach Parker on.
Hey, Coach, tell him we're gonna start. Can he finally beat me in golf?
He said he was on a golf course today. He said he wants to know
Hey,
if
I
he's
played
going
today, Cisco. Hey, I don't think you want any of me.
You don't want to. Yeah, he don't want these problems, do we, Dermontti? He's on
No,
his.
no, no.
But Dermontti, your story is absolutely amazing because you didn't play football until your junior year.
My junior year. Yeah, yeah.
Let's start there.
Coach Bryant.
What's
Hey, hey,
up?
how are you?
Thank you for coming on.
Oh
Appreciate
yeah,
it.
hey man, hey, no problem whatsoever.
The
No, hey
money
Terry,
does.
you were asking me a question about when I started playing football.
Your
I
junior
played
year.
well my junior year, but I played in the park league.
Okay.
Um, I think it was 1 year. I played in the park league 1 year, and then my ninth grade year at middle school. I ended up playing my ninth grade year,
Okay.
but I didn't come to practice very much because it was hot. So and I was number 85 at Leestown High School, at junior high
Okay.
school, and I didn't come to many practices, so I didn't get much playing time. So
Okay.
I just didn't want to. I just didn't
Just
like
wasn't
football at the time. Yeah, yeah. So when I got to Bryant Station, my 10th grade year, I went out for track with Paul Woodall and those guys
okay.
and wrestle. And then after that, then Cornell Burbage and Mark Logan and those guys are the ones who kind of influenced me to kind of go out. But Coach Parker was the main person. I was coming out of biology class my junior year, and he said, he put his arms around me and said, "Son, where have you been all my life?" And that's a true story.
Right.
And at that time, I still, because Coach Parker was new to Bryant Station at that time, because I think Ed Sellers was the coach before that, before Coach Parker came. And, Coach Parker said, you got to go out for football. And so I said, well, I don't know if I'm going to go out or not. But, Mark and Cornell Burbage are the ones who influenced me to go out. So, and then that's where it all started.
And that's where it all started.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
my question is, we go back when you was a very young pup, coming out of Bryant Station High School, and do you? And a lot of stuff is taking place in your life, and you've been truly blessed with your babies, and I know they've grown up now, but your son and daughter. But when you can remember back at UK, when did you know that you were pretty good at this game? I know coming out of high school, they recruited you, yes. But when did you go, I'm pretty good if I keep
Did I have a chance to make
Yeah.
to go to the NFL?
Yes.
Well, hey, Cisco, I didn't start until my junior year in college.
No, I was there. Yes.
But they redshirted our whole freshman class, except for Larry Smith and Mark Logan and Cornell Burbage. They redshirted our whole freshman class. So I was on the scout team most of the time when I was at UK.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. I can't remember the coach that was a scout team coach. Man, I just went blank.
Didn't they put you on defense first, if I remember correctly?
Well, after spring ball, Coach Claiborne put me on. He wanted to put me on defense in spring ball, and then right before the blue-white game, they switched me back to guard my junior year. Before my junior year, and yeah, I practiced all defense that whole entire spring ball, and then right before the blue-white game, they switched me back to guard.
Wow.
So, and then after that, then I started guard my junior year and then my senior year.
Yeah.
So, but I really only had 2 years of college football. But the SEC is one of the best conferences in America. So, I think if you can play at that level and have some success and handle some of the best players, on the field, then that kind of gives you a
little heads up.
Yeah, a little heads up. Yeah, big time. So
was it when you thought your agent said you thought you was going to get drafted, when you was like, oh, I'm pretty good, or, because I mean, you came in your junior and senior year was a major impact. Don't get it twisted. Okay. So,
well, I think my senior year is when I realized that, maybe I could make a career out of it potentially. When I started getting letters from different college, well, not colleges, but pro teams. Mm-hmm. And then I got invited to the combine and then also the Senior Bowl and the blue-white game. So after that, that's when I knew that I had a chance to potentially make it, because you can have a big impression on the scouts and the head coaches for the Senior Bowl, any of the bowl games, and especially a combine. So if you get invited to the combine, you really have a chance to kind of show what you're all about. And it's not about, strength and everything else. They want to see the whole package, if you can run, right, flexibility, strength, intelligence, all that stuff, So, once you do all the testing and stuff, that's when I really knew that I had a chance to potentially make it. But, even with that, you have so many guys that are better than you skill-wise, because I was still kind of raw a little bit.
Because you were still new at playing.
Yeah, still new, and I had things I had to work on with myself, as far as technique, everything. So I really had to, when I went to combine and I ran a pretty fast 40, strength test, all that stuff, intelligence test, everything came out on top. So I think that's when it kind of, and then playing in the Senior Bowl too was a big one too, because I played against some of the best guys coming out of college. So, and I handled quite a few of the guys on defense and stuff in the practices. And so the coaches, said, hey, this guy's pretty good, but maybe I'm too small to play guard, but perfect to play center. But the Steelers ended up drafting me in the second round. And I was I guess slighted to go in the mid rounds. So it was a surprise to me that those guys took me in the second round, and then Bill Parcells was going to take me in the first round, but he thought I was too small, and he took Eric Moore out of Indiana, who was about 6'5", about 300 pounds, and looked like Adonis, and that's when it all happened. That's when my stock went up.
Oh wow! Okay, so you didn't become a center until you were with the Steelers?
Yeah. I played center in the Hall of Fame Bowl game in '84. Kim Petroviak, I think, got hurt, and I had to go in and play center. So I played center that game, and then I didn't start again until my junior year at UK, and then it switched me to guard. But right before the blue-white game, they switched me to defense that year, my junior year, and right before the blue-white game, they switched me back to guard. So I don't know what was going on, but I stuck at guard my last 2 years, and then, like I said, after the Senior Bowl and the Combine, then my stock went up a little bit, and then the Steelers ended up drafting me in the second round.
Okay, so how long were you with the Steelers before you became a center?
My rookie year, I started at guard my fourth game of the year of the season, and so I played guard my rookie year, and then my second year, I was in the hallway coming into the stadium for workouts, and then Chuck Noll called me into his office, and he said, "You know what?" He said, "Ronnie, I want to switch you to center, because Mike Webster, I was starting beside Mike my rookie year." So Mike ended up going to Kansas City in '89, and so Chuck Lanza was slotted to be the starting center from Notre Dame. So Chuck called me into the office and said, "Hey, I want to switch you to center, and I want you and Chuck Lanza to fight it out." So, that training camp, my second year, I ended up winning the spot and never relinquished the spot until after I retired.
So what was the learning curve for learning that? Like,
center position?
To learn the center? Who was your mentor?
Well, I tell you what, Mike Webster was my mentor, because, he had accomplished everything, 4 Super Bowls, Pro Bowls, anything you can think of. Mike was the man. And so I would always ask Mike, because I was starting beside him my rookie year. Mm-hmm. So, Mike was always the first one in the stadium in the morning. I consider myself the first, but Mike was always first and always the last to leave. And, so I wasn't married at that time, my rookie year. So I could stay there and watch film and everything else. And I was asking Mike about, why he would write certain things down. And I learned from him, just the way he conducted himself as a pro, because Mike was great. I mean, he would answer any question because he was in his 15th year, my rookie year.
Okay, gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. So, Mike, he was already the foundation of the O-line at that point. So I would ask Mike, why would he do certain things? And we all have different skill levels, so I couldn't do some of the things he could do. He couldn't do some of the things I could do because I was younger, stronger, and faster. So I would just ask Mike, and I had to work on myself too, because I always called myself a one-hit wonder because I was always trying to kill people. And that's what I was doing my rookie year. So, you lose your feet or your balance, and I wasn't, coming off the ball as fast as I wanted to. I was kind of out of control because I wanted to kill the person, so I had to learn to kind of customize my play, to my opponent. So I had to work on my skills, before I switched to center, taking the right steps, not taking a long step, not getting off balance, choppy steps, just making sure I'm balanced, I'm head up, butt down. So I had to work on all those skills, every year I try to work on something that I was deficient at, and it made me a better player overall.
Now, my question is, when you was at center, we know you pulled.
Mm-hmm.
Which pancake do you remember the most where the guy, the next time you pulled, just ran away from you?
No, nobody really runs away from you once you pancake somebody. They're more aware when you're coming around, especially the backers, because you got to run and start then. So it's hard, you got somebody who's 290 pounds, who's fast, and you got somebody who's 230 or 240, it's going to be a collision. So, some of the guys, try to back up. You hit them and they try to back up and, kind of get you off of them. But, I was good enough where I could, stay with them and keep my feet. And I had to work on that, so, but, nobody really tried to avoid me. They're going to take you on no matter what, because that's part of their responsibility as a defender. But
that was, what do I say about him? He is unbelievable. Don't I say that? Because I'm sorry, I've seen you pancake some people, and I'm not in a hurry to get over it again. That's a business decision. I got to make a business.
It was all good, hey, in the game of play, you got to do what you got to do.
Yeah.
You got to do what you got to do. Yeah. But, we started. Oh, go ahead.
No, please, go ahead.
Well, hey, Cisco, we started in '92 when Bill Cowher came in as the head coach, and we had Ron Earhart, who was the coordinator from the Giants. So we were every training camp, we would have our first practice would be towards our opponent for the regular season. So when Earhart came in, it was Philly that we had our first game against my fourth year, the first game, and we were going against Philly. So they had this gap defense, so they were gapping all the defensive tackles in the ends in the gaps, and then the backers would do the same thing, be in the gaps. So they were running stunts and slants and everything else, and guys were having a hard time getting to the second level. So the linebackers were coming free each and every play. So I told Ron, I said, why don't I just make a live call and I'll talk in the huddle. Once I see the defense, I'll make a live call or a false call, front side and back side, so the guys know whether or not I'm going to pull. If I give a live call, hey, you take my responsibility, come down, take that guy. If he's in a gap, if I can reach him, I'm not going to say anything. And then I'll pull, take your responsibility. You take my responsibility. And we did it front side, back side, man. And it became such a success because I was athletic enough to be able to do that and pull from the center position. Hey, we opened up a whole new can of worms for defense, and Ron, after we started doing it for a few games, Ron would put me in the office and we'd watch film. And he said, hey, Dermontti, they can't stop us. They cannot stop us. Because, we were leading the league in rushing, for quite a few years. Mm-hmm. So it was I guess it was out of necessity that I kind of came up with that, because I was the one who asked Ron and those guys to try it. And they said, hey, let's try it in practice, see how it works, get it defined, get it tuned in. And then we started to incorporate that in our game plan. And that was just part of what I could do. And they allowed me to do that. And so I want to thank Coach Gower and Ron Earhart, who allowed me to have the confidence in me to make that decision and be able to do that. So that's where it all started.
Coaching makes such a big difference. That's why we love coaching. We love being able to have that type of impact on players. Connie Rayford said, hey, big brother.
Oh, hey, tell Connie I said hello.
And she said, Steeler Nation for life, of course.
You got it. Black and gold, baby.
Now, Mr. Brown said, who was the most difficult nose guard to play against?
I tell you what, Doug Williams for Houston Oilers was probably Doug Williams. Doug was about 6'5", 6'6", 330 pounds, and he was just going to come straight ahead. But he was so big and strong, he was probably one of the tougher nose guards to defend. And I tell you also, another person was Jerry Ball. Jerry Ball, my first year at center, when he was in Detroit, this is my first preseason game playing against Detroit. Jerry Ball, perennial Pro Bowler. Jerry was eating my lunch because we had the trapping offense at that time, under Chuck Noll. And so I'm trying to block back or block him and double, and he is blowing me up. He's getting penetration in the backfield or standing me up a little bit so the guard can't pull on the line of scrimmage, and he's messing up the whole time and the whole play. And I said, Coach, I'm having a problem with him. I said, but Coach said, okay, you got to get out of your own head. He said, you think Jerry Ball's good. Jerry Ball's good, but he said, you're better.
Oh,
and he said, you know what? He said, you got to have confidence in yourself. And he said, hey, just go out there and play your game. Don't be thinking. Don't think. And that's what I was thinking about. I said, okay, what's he going to do? Is he going to shoot this way? And I started to, get a little confidence after that. And then after that, I handled him the whole second half. And then I never had a problem after that first half. But Coach said, you got to believe in your abilities. And he said, stop thinking about Jerry Ball. Think about what you got to do and how you got to do it and just get it done. And after that, had no problems. But Jerry Ball was kicking my butt that first half of the game. And I always tell him that too. Even when he went to Cleveland, Jerry was still a good player, man, just a great player.
Oh, wow.
So,
but yeah, he eat my lunch.
But I have a question, Ben. I'm a 49er, but the Steelers really irritated me based on their drafting of a quarterback. And that's your team, that's your roots. and I know you had, no disrespect, you're not going to disrespect them, but am I wrong about this? I couldn't understand why they didn't take this guy or this guy. And
yeah, well, we can always ask questions of why they do that, but the scouts and stuff, hey, they do their analysis and everything else, and they scout. That's their job. So if they see something in a quarterback we may not see,
and that's the only thing I can say, Dermontii, because I didn't understand. Yeah. Because I'm looking at it like you said, that's not my job, but I'm also very familiar with football. And,
oh yeah,
and when I look at a roster, I can see what you need.
Yeah,
if you got 2 tackles, don't get a tight end. You don't need it. You don't pass the ball.
That's right.
That's what I mean by no questioning them, but it sort of made me go, okay, I'm not understanding why they're not taking this type of quarterback based on.
Yeah. Well, I've questioned that in the past as well, but I don't know. I mean, we can all, try to second guess them, but what can you do? We have no decision making powers. So the powers that be, man.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I question the 49ers every day. I'm always
okay.
But they don't. Hey, but it's funny though. They don't listen.
Well, hey, I question the Steelers' motivation sometimes about some of the selections they choose, but they don't listen to me either.
Okay.
Hey, I know how it goes, Cisco. Hey, it is frustrating sometimes, man. Because they said, okay, well, why'd you take this guy? This other guy is much better, much more mobile, got a better arm, everything else. He may not be highly touted or came from a top university, but he's a good quarterback. He's a solid quarterback, and that's what you need. Even with the Steelers this year with our boy from Green Bay,
Aaron Rodgers. I've said, okay, well, why did they choose Aaron? Aaron has accomplished everything he can accomplish as a player. He's going to be a Pro Football Hall of Famer. He has nothing to prove. We need to build for the future and get a young quarterback in there and start grooming him. Well, we're partial to Justin Fields because I went to school with his mom, so they're like family to us. He's like a nephew to us. So yeah,
Justin was a solid quarterback.
I thought so too.
Yeah,
I'm glad you said that.
Yeah, he was a solid quarterback. I like Justin, and if he can beat you with his feet, hey, just like Cordell Stewart, man. When they said that Cordell wasn't a pocket passer. I used to sit behind Cordell and talk to him after games. I said, Cordell, if you see an opening man, run. Get those yards. Make those first downs. That's going to loosen up the defense, and we'll get them later. So, but I used to tell him all the time, because, the media was tearing Cordell up at one point when he first got there that, we didn't need a running quarterback. He's not a pocket quarterback. No, he's not a pocket quarterback.
Right.
He can beat you with his legs. He can beat you with his arm as well. Mm-hmm. So they wanted to see him pass.
Well, I never understood that because to me, everybody knows I played receiver at UK, but that was not me. That I was a defensive minded person, and I've always coached defense. The Cordell Stewart bothered me as a defensive coordinator than Aaron Rodgers would. You better have some receivers. And you better have a Dermontti Dawson on the line because I'm blitzing, and I'm gonna move you out of your pocket. And I guess that's what I was wondering about Fields, because from the view, we're in the cheap seats.
Yeah.
From the view, he looked good.
He did to me as well. Yeah, but he didn't have that supporting cast to help him get to to have some success. Because it takes a whole team. It's not one individual. As we know it as players, former players, you need a supporting cast. And he didn't have that supporting cast to help him, succeed. So, that's the problem with it. Sometimes you get those right guys on the team, that make you look good. And then they're gone. And then next thing you know,
you're on an island by yourself.
Yeah. You're falling. You're failing. And it's just not. It's not the players. It's not the players' fault. It is some players' fault. Not performing up to a certain level. But you still got to have that supporting cast to support you.
Yeah. The one thing I like about the Steelers and Coach Tomlin is that they have been steady and consistent. They haven't gotten over the level. What's it been? It's been a couple years, but he's got a couple of rings, right?
Yes.
But what has been missing
from your perspective?
From your perspective, from them getting over that hump, because it's been a struggle because they're loaded every year.
And it's sort of like when you think of the AFC, the first thing you think of KC, Buffalo, now
Texas, yeah, Texas coming up.
There's one more that I'm missing, and I apologize. And then there's the Steelers. And we are saying the same thing, like
they're solid.
It should be here,
because
they're always there. And so, to go back on Terry's question, what do you think is missing? I mean,
well, I know at one point, our offensive line was kind of lacking a little bit, as far as protection wise and run blocking ability. I think that's been part of our problem at times, and then also the receiver situation. Defense is always going to be good in Pittsburgh, because that's what we're known for. But, offensively, we've got to have a consistent back. I like Jaylen Warren. Warren is a heck of a runner. Najee, he's gone, and I think he's with Tennessee now, or Tennessee. Yeah. So
I didn't understand that one.
I didn't understand.
Oh my God, he runs.
Yeah.
He's a bit. He runs like from Pittsburgh.
Yeah, I mean, he's been solid the last couple of years.
Well, I just think because the style of running, I don't know who's the coordinator right now, but they're not. He's Najee. He's a north-south runner.
Okay.
He's not one of those guys who can run, to the line of scrimmage like a Barry Sanders and beat you around the corner. Mm-hmm. He's not that kind of runner. He's a north and south runner. And I just don't think the plays that they're running are plays that enhance, his running ability.
Okay.
And then I think the offensive line too has been struggling a little bit as well.
And I guess I don't understand. Okay, me being a brand new offensive coordinator and still learning this thing, I don't understand that. So when we started practice, it took me 2 weeks or 3 weeks to decide on what my offense was going to be, because I had to see what I was working with first.
Yeah.
And I had to see what my level of talent was. And did we have receivers? Do we have running backs? Who's going to be our quarterback? And I had to see what their skill set was. And then I had to go find plays that I felt would benefit them.
Benefit the players. Yeah. Well, and I think
so that they could be successful, as opposed to me just having a playbook that's my program and then hoping that they would just pick up whatever that my system. I don't understand.
Hey, Terry, I would do the same. I would evaluate my offense the same way you would, because some coordinators have set plays that they want to run that they think are going to be successful, but they're not, because some aren't going to be, because some players can't, they can't sustain blocks. Some players don't play can't double team very well. It depends on the athleticism of your offensive line, because those guys have to be able to get off the ball with force. Yes. They have to be able to pass block and everything else, whether they are better slide blocking than one-on-one blocking. Do they need a fullback to help them out? Because you're going to have some bad boys on defense, trying to get to the quarterback. So those guys have to be solid individually pass blocking and trying to protect the quarterback. So you have to kind of look at the strength and weaknesses of your O-line, whether it be run or pass, and try to come up with plays that are best suited for them to give your quarterback protection and to open holes for your running back. Whether if it's an off tackle play or,
Oh, is that?
Can't tell.
I can't tell either.
You froze.
Yeah, there we are. Yeah, so I mean, as a coordinator, you have to design plays that complement your, abilities of your O-line, your running backs, your tight ends, all that stuff, and pass plays as well.
And I've seen that so much, and I do not understand that. I don't get it.
Yeah,
and, I just wish I had some. And I don't want to be disrespectful and question them, because they obviously have way more skill set than I have. I didn't play, but to me, just common sense is like, why would you not just figure out what your skill set is before you have before you just have them cater to your program? Well, I don't understand.
We was in practice a few days ago, and and I'm standing there, and usually when offense starts, I walk away. I'm gone.
Okay.
I sit up on the hill, look at my phone. But I glance up and down, and I know the offense. I really do. But the funniest part is a young person did something on our little middle school team. And I walked over to coach and I said, hey, he can't do what you want him to do. He is not that guy for that play. Yep. And what made me so happy, she looked at me and said, oh. And then she put the other guy in, the other kid who was that guy to do that. We just fortunate. Yeah. And that's what I've always said. And I think did Cornell come on say something?
I didn't see Cornell.
Okay. But that's what I always loved about coaching with Berg. He would do that. You know, I could walk up to him and say, Berg, they're doing this to you. And he would change it.
Yep.
Okay. And real quick, one of my thing on offense coordinators, they drive me crazy. They want everybody to know how many thousands of plays they got. I don't get that.
Yeah.
You know, that's why I love Steve Spurrier, the old ball coach. That ain't working. Let me draw it up in the dirt.
Let me draw it up in a different way. You know, just like with the Steelers when we had Cordell and Neil O'Donnell. You know, they would bring Neil in, they would bring Cordell in to change up the defense. You know, make them change up the defense. Yeah. Hey, and we had designed plays for Cordell, and it was very successful. But you need a coordinator who is going to listen to the players, because we as the players are the ones who are out there blocking and trying to get this done. And if they're not going to give us plays that are going to be successful, they got to let us tell them what plays we think are going to be successful and work. And that's the one thing I think about the Steelers when I played, is that they allowed us as players to have input on the plays that we like. And Ron Earhart, man, was great. And Coach Gower was great about that, by letting us make the adjustments and let us choose some of the plays that we like best in certain situations. Third down situations, short yardage, and then goal line situations, you know, and then some of the pass plays. So when they give you those options, man, that gives you a little bit more confidence that the coaches validate what your input is into the offense or defense. So
do you feel that was that's of why you guys were able to win Super Bowls like that, because of that?
Well, I think that's why the Steelers have had long-term success offensively and defensively, you know, and as a team, because I think the coordinators, some of the coordinators do listen. You know, some are not willing to give up that power to the players, but the players are the ones who have to go out there and execute. So we should have say. And, you know, that's one thing I credit, you know, Ron Earhart and Bill Cowher and those guys, man, because they listen to the players. You know, even on the defensive side, when I was playing, they listen to us. And I think Coach Tomlin is the same way.
But okay, but I'm gonna chime in as a coach. I'm gonna listen to this player. I ain't listening to this one, because this one's just So when you say that, you know, the clarification is it depends on who the player is. Like you said, use the first or the second. There, use the first or the second last to leave. So that person's invested, so that coach sees that.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of times players want to put an input. It's sort of like I can walk over to my offensive coordinator, even at this middle school stage, and if I want them to run a play, I'll tell them why. I don't just say
you have to. Yeah, you just can't tell them to run a play and they're going to run it, because they don't want to know the basis for that play and why you want to run that play.
Right, and that's what a lot of people don't understand. You gotta say something to make them change their mind, because their mind's set. You know?
And so we as players, you know, that's what our coaches allowed us to do. They said, we want your input. So it's not, you know, their word, their word, and that's it, you know. They want our input, because we're the ones out there blocking. So we know what's going to be successful and what's not. So, and I think, you know, coaches have to be, you got to be able to listen too, you know, it's twofold, you know, you got to tell them the certain things that are going to be concrete, but then again, as a player, as a coach, you still have to listen to the players too. Because our coaches used to ask our opinion, you know, what do you think? What do you want to run? I said, hell, let's run a dive play. Let's get their ass off the ball.
Right.
Yeah. You know, they couldn't handle us. Yeah, and we know when we're killing them. Mm-hmm. They keep on running the ball, kill them.
Yeah, mm-hmm. That's me.
I love it.
That's the one thing, you know, when you got them on the heels,
keep going at it.
Keep going. Keep going.
That's how we are.
Yeah. Yeah.
So Dermontii, why did you get into coaching?
Well, I did have my one little stint where I did an internship with the Steelers in 2009, and then I was in 2010 with Cincinnati. But I fell in love, and I moved west.
Okay.
Yeah. So, but I tried to get a job with the Chargers when I came out here, but I went over and talked to Lesko, and I told him I would just donate my time and come over to the facility because I don't live far from the facility. Okay. Before they moved to LA. And so I tried to get a job with those guys. I told them I would donate my time, come over and let them know that I'm serious. But they said, we hire within the organization. So after that, I just kind of gave it up.
But the thing I liked about that, I know it's disappointing because it happened to you or happened to me like that, if you will, is that's honesty. I want to hire within my organization.
Yeah, organization. Yeah.
And when people do that, I go, that's okay. The bad part is that they would have led you on, knowing they're not going to hire you.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, and I respected that too. I was cool with it. Yeah, I was cool with it, and I know how the coaching realm works. So yeah.
It's been a few jobs. My wife said. It's been a few jobs my wife asked me to apply, and I said I'm gonna have a hard time getting them because they're gonna hire within.
Yeah.
And she goes, I said, you, that's just the way it is. But my question, another question to you, Dwayne, is it a center in high school, college, or pros? When you're watching and you're clicking the channels, that you go, wow, I like him. Is it somebody right now that you? Or just at awe with of their skill set?
Well, Chelsea was Kelsey, with Philly when he played, man, he's good. Yeah, I liked Kelsey, and I can't remember the Atlanta center. I don't know his name, but he's got some skills as well. I see him pulling, and he's just an athletic center. I'd rather have an athletic center that can move as opposed to a big guy. I want my offensive line to be anywhere from 295 to 310 and can run.
Wow.
That's what I like because they can chase backers. They can chase, direction, they can move out in field, so they can cover a lot of field. And I like that. Athletic guys, because that makes it hard for a defense. When you got guys who can run block and pass block and they're quick, that creates a lot of instability for defenses sometimes. And, instead of having a big guy up there that takes up space, I want athletic guys who can run and who are strong and who can pass block.
Gotcha. So listen, I'm going to go to the chat because there's some people shouting you out. Littleton Ward shouting you out. Station legend.
Brian Station, baby, class of 83.
Rodney is on. Rodney Chambers is on. He said, "This is Rodney, not Monica." He said, "What's going on, Hard Rock?"
All right, hey Rod, I'll see you when I come home again, man.
I don't know who this is. Sarah.
Sarah H. This is so very cool. Well, tell Sarah to come on and tell her to ask a specific question.
She said, "Berg rules all."
Yes, indeed, Sarah. I agree.
She said burger roof off. She said hello. So Mr. Brown had another now this is one question. One thing that I really love about the Steelers is I feel like that they were on the forefront of the Rooney Rule and any type of just diversity.
Yeah.
I think that's the word I want to use. Diversity in the league. I think they're on the forefront of that. And I think that is one of the things of why I have respected being a Steelers fan.
Yeah, I tell you what, the ownership group with the Steelers, man, with the Rooney family, those guys have been solid throughout, since the inception. And I give them all the credit in the world, man, because those guys have done a tremendous job, and I think, that's really the thing that I think about, that I like about Pittsburgh, is just the leadership and how it's been solid for decades. So, and I think, that reflects with the coaching, which we know, Chuck Noll, Bill Cowher, hey, Coach Tomlin, hey, you've had what, 50 years of coaches, if not more, and you'll never ever have that for another team, to have that, many or least amount of coaches for that amount of years. You'll never have that. So, that's one thing I always talk about the ownership group, because, that's where it comes. It comes from the top, stability. So the stability in the ownership group, and it reflects down the chain.
What, and also, Mr. Brown talked about Joe Gilliam.
Yeah.
We were growing up and we saw Joe Gilliam play a little bit, and, wearing number 17. And at that time, it had to be tough, had to be real tough.
Oh yeah. Yeah. That was back in the early 70s, and blacks were not considered smart quarterbacks. That's why blacks were kind of passed over, because they didn't think they had the intelligence to be a quarterback.
Yeah. Now, when you was at University of Kentucky for Pittsburgh, now you're a Pittsburgh fan. You love your Pitt. That make sure everybody understand that.
Yep.
You ain't crossing over.
No.
What was your favorite team when you was in high school?
Cincinnati.
Oh, the Bengals. Okay.
Yeah, Bengals. Yeah, because that was all we saw, Cincinnati and Cleveland games, and sometimes Pittsburgh games, but it was mainly Cincinnati.
Okay.
Yeah, they're only like 70-something miles away from us, in Lexington. Right. So,
Gotcha.
So I always followed Cincinnati.
Okay. All right. So I had to make sure that everybody understand he was talking about then.
Yes. Not now. I'm black and gold. I bleed black and gold.
There you go.
I'm black and gold.
Okay. Well, I want to go back. I want to go back to, where were you when you got the call that you were going into the Hall of Fame?
I was at 700 Charles Avenue in Lexington, Kentucky, at my mom's house, at my house. Yeah, I was there, with my family, and that was it. Just my mom, my dad, my brothers were there. And then I got the phone call. It's not like it is now, because
it's gotcha. It's not like it is now.
No, okay. It's really a show now. But no, I received a phone call from Chuck Noll, and oh man, I'm trying to think who I got a call from. Oh, I know I talked to Coach Noll.
Okay.
And then I talked to, oh man, I can't remember who I got a call from. But, they called me on the phone, and it was on the news on Channel 27, I think it was. They said, Dermontti Dawson was taken in the second round. And
did you know that they were going to call you?
No.
It was random. Just
yeah, because I was slated to go
the Hall of Fame.
For the Hall of Fame? Oh no. Yeah. Oh, I was here. Yeah, I was here in San Diego. I thought you were talking about when I was drafted. Yeah, I thought you were talking when I was drafted. Yeah. So when I for the Hall of Fame, I was here in San Diego at the condo, and then I was gonna go hit golf balls, because I said I don't think I'm gonna make it this year. So and then Dawn, my wife, she said, you better stay here. And next thing you know, I get a phone call. But I still had my cell phone with me, though, And then after I was selected, my phone started ringing off the hook, and my phone actually blew up because I had so many phone calls coming in, so many texts, so many emails. My phone went completely dead when I was doing the interview with the Pro Football Hall of Fame, when I was talking to those guys, and I had to call them back on my landline. Wow. Yeah, my phone actually stopped working, because I had so many calls and texts coming in at that time. And and then after that, then, we had to at least have a bag packed. And then we went down to New Orleans. We flew down to New Orleans the next day so that we could be introduced at the Super Bowl at halftime.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Amazing.
But
Amazing.
that was really a shock when that happened, Terry. I was really shocked, because I really didn't think I was going to make it that year. Yeah.
Oh, wow. I love it. Okay, so now tell us, what did it feel? Now I know nothing compares to that. Is that one of your probably the most memorable moments of your whole career? Is it?
that as a pro player who had been in the league for 13 years, that is the highest
ultimate.
honor. That is the ultimate honor. But in college, when I got drafted to the Steelers in 88, that was also
That
one of
was
my favorite
also
moments
huge.
as well. And then also in 92, when I made my first Pro Bowl.
Okay.
Yeah. Those are three of my highlights in my whole career.
Oh,
Draft day,
that's
first Pro
amazing.
Bowl, and then Pro Football Hall of Fame. Getting that
Well,
call.
tell us about the Lexington African American Sports Hall of Fame. What was
Well,
that experience like?
oh, hey, well, class of 22, that was great. It was phenomenal. And, and anytime that you receive any recognition, it's great. It's a great honor. But just to have that honor come from your own community, that is the ultimate honor. And I am very humbled to be selected in the inaugural class, 2022. And I know this year we have 23 candidates or 23 finalists that are going to be inducted as well, September 20th. So yeah, it's a big honor, Terri.
Well, it was the blessing to be able to, just to have you guys walk the stage and just to be in your presence. And then again, just the first one will always be the best one to me.
Yes. Yeah. But hey, all
First
of them
one
are
will
nice.
always be the best one. But they've all been nice, and I'm looking forward to
Yes.
the one on the 20th. One on the red carpet. I hate you won't be able to make it this year.
I know.
But maybe in the future we'll see you back at
Yeah.
it.
I hope to make it next year if I can.
Oh, absolutely. We're looking forward to it. So yeah, that class of 22 class was absolutely amazing. Just going through I think just being like Jennifer said, we were just humbled that you even accepted the nomination, because the other things that you accomplished you just can't top those. Those are just the
Oh
ultimate.
no. Hey, I would never, hey, this is my community, people I grew up with, and they're sitting here and honoring us. So I am not going to miss that at all.
Well, we definitely appreciate it. It was definitely a good time.
It
And
was.
so what did you was there anything about that surprised you? Was there a surprise?
As far as what?
Just like, I know I was surprised at how many people showed up to that first one.
Oh no, hey, I was as well. It was an inaugural event, so sometimes you don't get the word out. People don't show up because they don't think it's going to be
Right,
about
because they don't
anything.
know. Yes,
But that was really surprising how many people that showed up for the event,
that first minute.
for the induction. Yeah, I was really surprised.
Well,
But you guys, hey, but you know what? Hey, the whole crew, man, they did a great job. The whole selection committee, event committee, everybody did a great job. It was first class.
Absolutely, we had a good
Well,
time.
let me say this: I didn't leave to be leaving. I was actually going to look for 3 pictures, but they're actually in a frame in my office.
Okay.
And the 3 pictures of you when you called me up and said I need to get my golf clubs because you was walking out of my apartment, and the other one you had on this nice little suit. We had a road game, and you and I are actually sitting at a restaurant. So I've got those 3 pictures of you, and went downstairs and I was like, oh, I took them out and put them in a frame. Different.
Hey,
frame.
Cisco, I've got all those UK pictures, man. I've got them in albums as well, but my albums are in storage because they take up so much space.
Yeah,
but nobody keeps photos anymore.
Well, that's been one of the big things that I do. Actually, believe it or not, I actually will go to not plug in, but it's a fact. I go to Walmart. I sit there at the counter. And people will go, hey, Coach Bryant, hey. And I just say, I make this out of a picture and I put them in photo albums. I got pictures of her in a photo album.
Oh, I know.
I just think it slows life down. And I go out on the patio and I just sit there and I flip through them.
And flip through the pictures. Yeah.
Fly through my head. And
hey, I don't have enough room. I don't have enough room for photo albums anymore. They take up so much space.
They do that. So right now, what took place, I have to bring this up. Just your opinion doesn't mean it's just an opinion about Sanders getting cut from Tampa Bay.
I had not heard the news because I haven't been watching the Sports Center or anything. Did he just get cut down with the 53-man roster cut?
Yeah, based
Yeah.
on he threw a punch, and I just looked at it from my perspective. Based on that, again, it's just my perspective. That would mean you're looking for a reason, because if he's a guy that you're looking to keep, he's got to do a little bit more than that, because he's done nothing else wrong. From my opinion.
I haven't heard the news about that, Shadir. I didn't know. I didn't know
Shallow at Tampa Bay.
Shiloh. Yeah, hey, I'm not for sure. I haven't been watching Sports Center or anything. I just watch the news, and then we watch movies or some of our streaming services at nighttime. Yeah. So I'll have to look into that, Cisco.
Yeah, I don't know. It just always tells me, because he's a talent. There's no question. The apple don't fall far from the tree.
Yeah. So what happened? What was the full story? I mean, did they just cut him, or he got in a fight?
They got into a fight.
He got into an altercation with who
I don't know who it was. They were playing Buffalo.
Buffalo, the tight end, the starting tight end or the backup tight end.
Okay.
And he got pushed in the face, and the dude's been a little bit aggressive. And then when they broke out, he Shallow swung, and really hurt him by hitting his face mask with his hand.
Yeah. You gonna break his hand if anything.
Worse than anything.
But you know what? That's just guys, going at it one another. That's nothing wrong. Nothing wrong with it.
Yeah. So he got ejected from the game because you can't throw a punch. Everybody knows that.
Okay.
It just keeps the melee from happening.
I know.
But what that said is, how do you feel about the NFL now? So you've been retired, you set back and you watch, and a lot of your friends ain't playing anymore. So how do you feel?
Some of the rule changes I think are good for the players, but then again, it's not consistent. I see inconsistencies in calls when they roughing the passer or something like that, or a guy comes in there.
It depends on who it is.
It depends on who it is, I think. Yeah, and it's hard when you're making a decision to tackle somebody, and then you got to make a split second decision whether or not to hit this guy. That's tough to do because you got momentum on your side, and you can't stop momentum sometimes. So I think they have to define if it was intentional or non-intentional, or some of the rule changes now. When I see those guys when they can't hit a quarterback, and they're hands off, it drives me crazy. I know it's for the safety of the players, but let them hit them a little bit. It's a physical game. You're gonna get hit. Just don't hit them in the head.
But you made the Hall of Fame the way you blocked. How dominant would you be now if you was able to do what the linemen can do now? Because they can mug you now.
I think it would be about the same, but
okay.
Yeah, I think it'd be about the same because really, in between the hashes, you're gonna have contact anyway. So and your head banging anyway. You cannot have any non-contact, with the head being an offensive and defensive lineman. So you're gonna bang heads no matter what. So a defensive guy, if he's got him in his grasp and he slams the quarterback down, and then the whiplash of his head hitting the turf, now that could be deemed a penalty. But for us, offensive defensive linemen, we're going to bang heads no matter what. So you can't help that. But other guys, when it comes to defensive guys, hitting a defenseless quarterback, they should be able to push them on the ground, but don't call them for pushing them. Now, if they land on top of them, that's a whole nother story. Then you could dislocate a shoulder or break a wrist, break an arm. I think I don't know. It doesn't seem like football anymore.
Doesn't seem like football. It almost seemed like I think when the Pro Bowl went to flag, I felt like that was almost a coming attraction of what's in the future because they keep changing the rules.
I see Sarah said Sanders got an offer from Pittsburgh.
That would be fun.
Okay, yeah, I got to check out the news later on today.
That would be fun. Oh, absolutely.
Well, there's no question he can play. And as we go back to that young man, and I don't know. I just it sometimes things just shake my head. It really does. I guess when you get older, you look at things a little different.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
and it goes down to I was watching the movie Fences, and Denzel Washington, and his comment was, "It shouldn't be any rules. If you can play, play. If you're able to play, play."
Yes.
And stop doing the other stuff. I don't know if you've seen the movie, but that's a great line. It shouldn't be this because of this. And so with that said is, hey, now I remember a gentleman that I always thought, speaking of Brown, a gentleman that I always liked because he was a tight end, and then then the Pittsburgh moved him to tackle, Larry Brown.
Oh, Larry?
Is he still around?
I'm not sure. I haven't seen Larry in years.
You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah, I know who you're talking about, but I haven't seen Larry in years.
Okay, because I just thought it was a pretty good transition when he went from tight end to tackle and stayed in the league for 4 or 5 more years.
You have some tackles now, man. They're big. I mean, tight ends are big as tackles now. So I mean, those guys, if they're athletic enough, they could probably play tackle.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm sure they probably played tackle in college before they moved to tight end.
Yeah.
Or high school.
This is a great question.
Oh, Alvin.
Is Mr. Manius? Is it? How do you say it?
Neil. Well, yeah. They
how do you say it?
Manlius Neil. Yeah, they spelled
Manlius.
it.
Okay.
Yeah, Manlius Neil is my grandfather who owned the Spider Web and the famous Greystone Hotel in East End. Yes, he was.
Okay.
Manlius Neil and Pauline Neil.
Okay.
Yes.
And he also said that your vision for Brandon Crossing is still growing, and he said a great achievement on that.
Okay, yeah, I did that when I was with Bella Reeve Development Company.
Yeah.
With those guys, with Jim Hughes and the crew.
Yes.
Okay, so how long have you been retired from the NFL?
25 years.
25 years.
This is 25 years. 25 years.
So 25 years, and you've never had to work a job?
Oh yeah, I've had some jobs. Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah. I've had some jobs.
So what have you done after?
Yeah, I've got a buddy who owns a promotional product company. So I got the job when I came out here. I was in charge of California and Hawaii.
Okay.
So I had several accounts going up and down the coast of California and Hawaii. So all promotional products. And then that's when I tried to get into coaching after that. So,
okay.
But I've got my hands in pretty much quite a few things.
Oh, you didn't have no job. You was in California and Hawaii.
Yeah. I'm
California.
Oh well, hey, Cisco. Hey man,
if you said you was in Bangor, Maine.
Yeah, but hey, I would drive to some of my appointments, selling these products to these guys, to the companies, and then I'd fly to Hawaii, and sell products to the companies as well there. But you can do everything modern on the computer now. You don't have to travel as much now. Everything's on the computer. So, that makes it so much easier. But, I mean, go ahead.
No, I was elaborating on what you were doing without saying their names. What's your daughter and your son doing?
Well, Brandon, he works for Ashland Valvoline. He is an IT guy for those guys. Yeah, okay. So he's an IT guy for Valvoline Ashland Oil. And then my daughter is a chef at Jay Render's out in Beaumont Center.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. She's a chef. So she's the head chef there, and I just talked to her earlier today.
I don't think we've been there.
No, we haven't been there.
Well, you got to go out there. It's out there by the Kroger's. It's one of the freestanding buildings outside the Kroger's. Tire Discounters is to the right, and Jay Render's is on the left-hand side. They got a nice bar, patio, everything. It's great. And then she's responsible for the menu items. So when I come home, that's where I go eat all the time.
That's pretty cool.
Well, that's pretty cool.
We don't have to go out there, but if you talk to me before, please tell them I said hi.
Okay, we'll do.
So let's talk about what you say? What you say? Dermontii, how would you prepare athletes today for this new era of college with the NIL? Because wouldn't you have loved to gotten NIL when you was in school?
I probably wouldn't get
how
paid
do you
much
feel
because I
about
wasn't a
this?
starter.
So how do you feel about the whole getting paid, the whole NIL, and how would you prepare athletes in this day and age?
Well, I think it's good that college athletes are starting to reap the benefits of, their name, likeness, and image. I don't really understand it. I've been still trying to read up on NIL. I know that there's been some examples of some of these college players that are at one university and then they want to transfer to another university. So their NIL value is going to change or lessen because they're playing at a different university. So I don't know how all that works. I'm just not familiar with the NIL. It seems like the NCAA has no control over these players, transferring into transfer portal because they're disgruntled or they're not playing. It doesn't teach them how to deal with.
1 year. I don't know why they still can't stay a year before transfer. I don't know why they did that.
A lawyer here in Lexington explained it to me a little bit, and what happened is it fell under the rights of a job. You have the right to change jobs if you choose.
Okay.
And I'm not saying it the clearly correct way, but that's what he was talking about. He said, once this passed, because people forget, the first people that tried to do this was O'Banion brothers of UCLA.
Okay.
When they was about to play Arkansas, I was going to say Arkansas. They was about to play Arkansas, and then BYU came years later and got it rolling. And, so with that said, is it falls under something like that. He said he explained it more in depth.
Okay.
I just can't recall how he said
yeah. Hey, Cisco, I have a whole printout of the NIL rules, and I still don't understand it. I know the NCAA can't pay you. I know the companies have to pay them directly to the athlete. So
well, the school now is getting some bargain of $20 million, and they choose to revenue share. Thank you.
Okay.
And they can do whatever they want to with it. And
do they spread it? Do they spread it across the board?
They spread it, but they don't spread it evenly.
Okay.
They spread it for whichever individual sport that it's going to bring more revenue in. Like, for example,
like football, basketball.
Yeah. Like somebody was talking about the women, this and that. And I said, well, the Oklahoma softball team, female, is getting a lot of that money because they're good every year.
Yeah.
So whichever that individual sport happen to be blessed, that's the one as
who's going to reap the benefits of it. Yeah. I just don't. I still don't understand it, but I mean, it's still nice that players are getting paid. But then again, you have the deficiency for the lesser sports that bring in the crowds and the money for universities. So I think they still need to spread the wealth across the board to all the athletes to make it fair.
I agree. I think I agree with that.
Yeah.
Especially for like track and field, because it's a non-revenue sport.
Yes.
But it's still needed,
entertaining,
and it's still entertaining. And I just think they got to figure out. They just got to figure it out.
But on the hindsight of backpedaling, but it's hard to be equal when one place is selling out and the other one not. I mean, it falls in the category if Terri, you work 40 hours and Terri works 40 hours and I work 30, but I'm getting the same amount of money as y'all three. If you look at it in a normal business standpoint, that's kind of tough. It makes you shake your head like, wait a second.
Right.
I know. But
of course, I said something that benefited what I said when I made it made me sound
But still, I still think the companies, when they giving this money to some of the athletes, still they need to spread it across the board to make it fair for everybody, and not just have the haves and have-nots.
But how do you not have an input? And like, say, Dermontii Inc. Just say you own this major company. You're sitting at home, you and your beautiful wife, and you just wrote. You in San Diego State. You just wrote. Is it still state? San Diego State.
San Diego State. Yes.
Okay, I just want to make sure it's still state because sometimes they change. So San Diego State, you just wrote them a $25 million check. And you don't feel like y'all got something to say who's playing? Because if I write you a $25 million check,
You gotta have a say
he
in
ain't
it.
starting. He is. I mean, do you feel that's where it's going to end up going to?
No, I still think they have to share that money across the board, not evenly, but at least give those guys a minimal amount so they feel needed or wanted. So yeah, I think they need to do that.
I just think that they need to figure out how to regulate it. But from my understanding, they're not going to come up with any type of regulation for it. It's right now, it's just free for all. And I
Okay.
just don't, we
Okay.
just don't know where it's going to come
Where
to.
it's going. Yeah.
But it is frustrating. Like even, so we got our first game this week, this Saturday for Kentucky's, or all, I guess most teams are starting this week.
Mm-hmm.
And it's frustrating that we have 40 of our roster, 31 new players. It's like more than half, 51 new players.
Yeah, 51
on the
Oh
roster.
man, boy, that's a lot of turnover.
And that's a lot of turnover.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
Man.
And so, and then some of those, if you're looking at some of the players who still had maybe like another year, but because you don't have to sit out that year anymore, now they were just able to go. Whereas if you still had that year where you have to sit out a year, then now I don't think you have as much of a turnover.
I know
as it was before, because now you don't have a choice but to stay.
There's no player recognition for any school anymore.
Right.
And I think they need, they should not be able to transfer. They should be able to stay there at least 2 years. You're going to be there 2 years. Don't let them transfer each and every year, because some guys are going to be unhappy no matter where they go.
No matter where they go.
Yeah, and they're going to want to transfer. So I would make them, have a rule where you have to at least stay at a university for 2 years when you transfer there. Because there's no, because you can I don't know. It's just kids nowadays, man. They want to move when they're unhappy. They don't learn how to deal with adversity or anything. And it's not teaching kids the right lessons.
Well, I guess I have to disagree with 2 years. My biggest problem is that I don't care when you transfer, you get one time.
Okay. Oh, well, yeah, one transfer. That's it.
That's
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
That has nothing to do with NIL. If you transfer, you get 1 year.
Yeah.
You get
one chance.
One transfer. That's it.
One transfer.
And if you transfer twice, you have to set out 1 or 2 years.
But
okay.
I do like the idea of, okay, let's say you get I like that. But I also like the idea that if you do get a new coach, that gives you an opportunity to transfer, because now you lost your coach, right? Or the staff has gotten fired, because a lot of times the new staff comes in and you don't have a choice anyway. They're getting rid of you anyway, because they're kind of like what Coach Sanders did when he came in with Colorado. He got rid of everybody anyway. So even if I wouldn't want to punish a kid that's already used his transfer, and then now they can't transfer when the new staff is coming in and you don't fit their system, then that gives you another opportunity to transfer.
I can understand that, because that's what happened with when I was coaching at Dunbar High School back in the 90s, and it was 2000, and then men went to West Virginia from Lexington. The staff left. The new staff didn't want him. And I understand what you're saying. He has the right to leave, but at that time you couldn't leave unless you sat out.
Okay.
And because most people, when they bring in who they want, that's who they spent their money on. That's who they travel. That's who they go with.
Yeah.
So that's what makes it kind of tough. You got some loopholes, but overall, if none of that happens, you got to stay, like you said, stay for a few years or a year.
Yeah.
I definitely don't like this every year where you don't have to sit out.
Oh, I know. I don't either.
Now, if I'm correct, the Miami quarterback was scheduled. Was it the Texas quarterback or the Georgia quarterback that's with the Hurricanes now?
Georgia quarterback.
Okay, and he was supposed to go to the pros, but he's going to make $10 million going to the U.
I would go to the U.
I would go to the U.
Yeah, I would too.
That's what we're talking about. Wait a second.
I would go to the
if you already gave him his one transfer, he can't do that.
Mm-hmm.
Start your life. But I don't blame him. I would go to the youth.
I would as well. Yeah, I don't blame I don't blame the kids. Hey, whoever set this NIL up, I blame those guys.
Yeah, because they definitely didn't think it all the way
through. They didn't think it through.
Well, the thing is, you got to understand who actually gave the rights for it was judges. It wasn't the NCAA. It wasn't the coaches. It wasn't the president of the universe.
Okay.
Federal judges make rules. You got to follow it. Or you
that's true. That's true.
I mean, and that's what basically. And then also now they say, well, y'all figure it out. And now that's what they're doing now is figuring it out.
Still trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
There's still going to have to be some rule changes, I think.
It's got to be. It's got to be.
Yeah.
Okay. I got one more question, and then I always leave, and then she gives that look, and this is her show, and I let her finish with the guests. But Dermontii, I love you, my dog.
I love you too, my brother.
Dirty D, you know what I'm saying? And
you had some good times in UK, baby.
But my point is, it's so funny when people talk about you. And I was getting my rehab, and thank you for the picture for Jim, who did my rehab for my knee.
Oh yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome.
Hanging up, and to see the look on his face when you sent me that picture and you signed it and had his name on it, and I guess it's so funny because I known you since you came out of high school, and then you watch people that don't know you, and they like, Dermontii. Dermontti Dawson, and then you got your gold jacket, and you still Dermontti Dawson. You still real.
I'm still the same old person, man.
Yeah, and please tell the wife I said hi. Please,
I will.
And when you do come out to Lex, always give me a call. You know that we meet at UK every time. Yeah,
you got it, my brother.
All right, love.
All right, love you too, man.
All right.
I'll try not to keep you much longer.
Oh, hey, that's all right.
I am loving this conversation, of course. So, he said the quarterback position has really been greatly compromised in college because of NIL. Big time.
Well, I wonder why that is. What's Alvin's?
Because those are the I think they're the ones that's getting paid the most.
Oh yeah, they're the quarterback position is always going to be the highest paid no matter what. Pros.
Then, and then sometimes they're getting paid and they're not worth what they're.
I know.
It's gotten to be a whole mess. So who was your? I know you talked about Webster.
Right.
Who did you look up to when you first came into the league? Like, were you in awe when you played and you were like, oh my God, that's such and such, such and such?
Here with the Steelers, when I first came to the Steelers, Joe Green.
Oh wow!
Yeah, me and Joe Green. Yeah, Joe. Because Joe was he was coaching the defensive line when I got here, and then I was in Chuck Noll as well, Coach Noll, and so both of those guys were good coach, great coaches. Chuck when I got here, he was towards the end of his career, but I played 4 years under Chuck Noll, and this guy was so smart. I mean, he knew everything about offense, defense. I mean, he was just a very intelligent guy and knew something about everything. And then when I came here, I looked up to Joe as well, because Joe, being Mean Joe Green, you saw his commercial, "Hey kid," throwing the old jersey. And, so that was just be able to be able to talk to him as, one of the members of the team and be in the meetings with him and just be able to have a conversation with him, I mean, it blew my mind. Here I got Mean Joe Green sitting beside me that I'm talking to. I got Mike Webster here that I'm talking to. I got Chuck Noll, I've got Dan Rooney, or Art Rooney, and those guys that I'm talking to and socializing with every day. It just blew my mind. So, but I looked up to Joe, man, because I mean, he was one of my heroes when he was playing with the Steelers back in the day, and it was just special just to be able to have a conversation with him. And I'm still talking to him to this day.
Oh, wow. Awesome.
Yeah.
So 25 years. Is it still surreal when you're out in public and you're just trying to be just a regular old person and people are just in awe when they see you?
I don't have that happen much. Yeah, yeah, I'm serious. Yeah.
Really?
I've only been recognized in San Diego. I
Mm-hmm.
can count on one hand 4 times
Okay.
that I've been recognized in San Diego. But if I do an event for a Charger event or
Mm-hmm.
somebody's foundation, then they know you're going to have different players from different teams are going to represent and be there. But yeah, yeah, I go along. Anonymity is a good thing. I love being able to go where I want to
So
go.
yeah, so now
Yeah,
you're not have to deal with that. Well,
no,
that's actually
no,
a good thing because you
it
can live
is.
a life. Yes.
Yes, you can. Nobody judges you. Judge.
Mm-hmm.
Well, where I live now, in the neighborhood and walking the dogs and over on the USD's campus and everything else and doing different events here in San Diego, people know who I am because,
Right.
because I go to different events. But my neighborhood, some people find out who I am and they ask for pictures or can you do this or do that, so but that's all good. I can handle all that. But it's
Right.
nice. Not a lot of people know me in San Diego, which makes it nice.
Oh yeah, that's good
Yeah,
because I
yeah.
know
So
because being married to Coach Bryant, it's sometimes it's overwhelming
well,
when we
because
go
everybody knows
someplace.
Cisco from UK, and then coaching at Dunbar and different places, so
Mhm.
he's a household name.
He is, and I mean I
Yeah,
love it. Don't get me wrong, I love it. It's
yeah.
fun.
Oh yeah.
But sometimes for him, I think it's overwhelming because he's like, oh my God. Sometimes he just wants to chill or
I
just
know. I know.
enjoy
Well,
it.
hey,
And
when I come back to Lexington, it's the same way, Terry. Where
is
I'm
it?
going around and I see people and people see me in the stores or something, just around Lexington, same thing, so they want to talk and see what I've been up to.
Well, that's good. Well, that's why we brought you on here so
Oh
everybody
yeah,
can
yeah,
see.
it's all good. I love
We
it.
can, yeah, so we can see what you've been up to
Yeah, yeah,
and chat it up. I just appreciate you coming on and we could talk football all day because I
yeah,
want to.
yeah. Well, hey, I
Okay, so
appreciate you having me on.
in this day and age, I'm a new offensive coordinator. Who would you say I should go look? I should go study under.
I'm really not. I really haven't. I really don't know a lot of coordinators to tell you the truth. Um, to see if I like their style of offense.
Mhm.
Yeah, I really couldn't help you in that area.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. To be honest.
Well, all I want to know is what are the predictions for the Pittsburgh Steelers this season?
I've got to see. I know with the preseason and stuff. I'm really not a big preseason guy. I like to see the starters in there all the time. But I'm hoping those guys can at least 9-7, 10-6, maybe. It would be nice. They kind of revamped the O line. The defense a little bit. We lost a few guys, but we also added a few
And
guys too.
some guys.
There are going to be some playmakers, and that's going to make a difference on the offense as well as defense. So I'm just excited about the season, and I hope those guys have some good success this year.
So how many games do you make it out there?
I have not been to Pittsburgh in a few years to make any games. Yeah, and so because I'm traveling all throughout the course of the year, and
Mhm.
so me to get from West Coast to East
West
Coast,
Coast, East Coast.
hey man,
It's
it's an all day deal. I got to leave early in the morning, and I don't mind
Mhm.
that, but
Right.
I'm traveling all over the place, so it's tough, back and forth, back and forth. I got responsibilities here at home, and then I
Mhm.
got responsibilities, different events that I do, and so yeah, it just makes it tough. It
Well, I
makes it
love
tough.
how you still just stay busy and you're still staying connected to the game. I
Yeah,
wish I would
yeah,
have been able to have like a mentorship coming in earlier so I could have stayed in athletics as opposed to just taking a job just to be taking a job. We
yeah,
didn't have these
yeah.
opportunities for females, of course, back
At that
then
time, yeah,
as they do
yeah.
now. Right now, the biggest thing for me, I think, is I'm gonna tell you who I didn't get a chance to meet, God rest his soul, was Franco Harris because he was a huge contributor to our league for the WFA, the Women's Football Alliance. He was a big ally for us
Okay,
and
okay.
was a good contributor to that. And so we would like to see some more of that kind of go on with the women's leagues. And I don't know if we got a team in San Diego. I don't think we got a women's team in San
Yeah, I
Diego.
don't think there's a team in
Yeah, I
here in
don't
San
think we have a
Diego.
women's
No,
team. Yeah, I don't think
no.
we have a women's team in San Diego. But I would like to see that. But right now, girls flag is like the biggest thing right now.
It is,
Um,
yeah.
I'm trying to get the state of Kentucky sanctioned. There's 16 states right now that are sanctioned, and I'm working on trying to get Kentucky sanctioned. I hosted my first camp in March, and we got another one coming up again next March, where we had 4 college coaches show up.
All right.
And one coach from North Carolina had 15 offers, full ride scholarships. Who would have thought that in this day and age that you can get a full ride scholarship for your daughter?
I know. Hey, times are changing. Times are changing for the best, for the better.
Absolutely. Now, what else would you like to see change?
As far as what?
Anything in with football? Any other major changes that you would like to see?
I mean, I don't know. I think they need to reverse some of the calls right now. Some of the call changes they've made. I think they need to go back to the old way potentially, or kind of loosen them up, be a little bit more loose with them, and make it seem more like a more physical game. Because it is a physical game. I know you're trying to, help the players stay safe, but still. It's become touch football, and it's not.
That's what I said. It's like flag.
Yeah, it's like flag football.
It really is coming to be like flag
football. Touch them and that's it. Hands up.
It.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a physical game. People can get hurt, but some of the changes are great, but some I don't agree with.
Oh, I love that. Let's go back to Mr. Brown. Station may have had the most talented players in all the Lexington high schools, dating back to Frank LeMaster and Mark Logan, just to name a few.
Cornell Burbage, Daryl Brown, myself, Kermit Sykes. I mean, you got some Sterling Ward. You got some guys, man. JT Haskins. You got all these guys that.
JT's going in this year.
Yeah, JT's going in this year. So you had some very talented and athletic people come from Bryant Station.
Yeah, they definitely have dominated. I was want to make sure that before I let you go, I'll make sure that I've addressed everybody. And she said, I think one of the most challenging things about being in San Diego is finding a place to park. LOL.
Sarah, you got that right. And now they've got parking meters on every street that you got to pay for. You used to be able to park on the street free.
And now it's paid parking.
Yeah. So now
my daughter lives in Chicago, and that's why I hate going to Chicago, because it's so expensive to park in Chicago.
Oh, it is here in San Diego as well.
And she said, you don't look like you've been out that long. You look great.
I'm 60 years old, girl.
You great. Look great.
I appreciate it.
Look great. I'm going to make sure that I address everybody. Littleton, did I get all yours? Jennifer, Mr. Brown, Connie, thanking everybody that came on. Connie, Rodney. Everybody else that's not that didn't chime in, I appreciate y'all all coming in and hollering at our guy, the Hall of Famer. Oh, so I was in the Hall of Fame this past week, so I always got to go by and take a picture with your bus. It is so.
It's amazing that
amazing.
The bus room is amazing.
It's amazing.
Yeah, yeah. Hey, goodness. It throws me for a loop every time I visit it, just to go in there and see all the different players over there.
It looks just like you.
I know. Yeah, I couldn't have a slick head because you had to look the way when you played. So you had to have hair on my head. So, but yeah, it's just a special place to kind of go in there and look at all the busts. And some of the guys always said, the busts talk to one another at nighttime. So, yeah,
I can see that.
Yeah. It's amazing, so they, it's just a great place to visit, and a lot of history there.
Amazing. So the bus room, and then downstairs in the African-American college portion.
Portion of it. Yeah.
And then even in the middle part, I think they still have a part where they do the African-American. They have a large amount of African-American history in the NFL Hall of Fame. They do.
And what they do, they circulate it. They put some of the artifacts out, and then they, put them back, and they put some more different ones out. So when you go, you may see something totally different. Yeah. So it's just a great place to visit.
Yeah, if you're an NFL fan, I don't know how you cannot
I
put that on
know,
your
I
bucket
know.
list to go to
Yes,
the Hall of Fame on no matter what team that
who
you
I know, I know.
like.
That's for
If
everybody
you're
who's a football
if you're
fan.
an NFL fan, I don't know how you can't put that on your bucket list. It
Yes,
is
indeed. You got
absolutely
to be. You got
amazing.
to go to Canton, Ohio.
You got to go to Canton, Ohio, to go to the Hall of Fame. So listen, this is my last question. Is there anything that you've ever wanted to say publicly that you've never had an opportunity or a platform to say that you would like to say?
No, not really. No, I mean, I've gotten support through, my family, the, community in Lexington, and if anything, I'll thank everybody who's been a great supporter of me and anything I've tried to do. I just want to thank those guys. But other than that, I have nothing else that I want to say to anybody.
Well, good stuff.
Yeah,
Well, we
yeah.
appreciate you coming on. We appreciate you sharing your a portion of your life with us and letting us catch up with you and
Yeah.
see how you're doing. And you still look absolutely fantastic. They tell Cisco you look like you could still come off. You look like you still coming off the bus and looking like
If
you
they
can
could only
still
feel my pains, that would be totally different. You wouldn't think the same. But no, you wouldn't think that's true.
still look like you could suit up. Listen, we're so proud of you. We're so thankful for you. We are in awe of your, even after 25 years, it's still so fun to be able to catch up with you and reminisce about your career after 20. It's so hard to believe it's been
I
25
know,
years.
25 years. I know, it's crazy.
Yeah, it seemed like it's just
Yeah, I
yesterday.
can't believe it.
Yeah, 25 years that we're still able to celebrate you and your career after this time. So thank you so much for coming on. I appreciate you. For those of y'all, please don't forget to come see us on the red carpet on
That's right, September 20th.
for the Lexington African American Sports Hall of Fame, where legends shine, where you will be able to see our next 23 inductees. This is Dermontti Dawson. He was in our first initial inaugural, and we are so glad and thankful for him, for the Lexington community, on behalf of the Lexington Hall of Fame, which is my sponsor for my podcast. Thank you, Jennifer and Bobby, for the sponsors. Thank you for the LAASHOF staff, everything that you guys do, Mr. Brown, everybody that came on. I appreciate you. I appreciate everybody. Make sure you go and subscribe, and I'm gonna end the stream, but don't log off, Dermontti.
Okay, you got it. You got it.
All right, guys. I love y'all, and we'll see y'all next week with I think next week I got another Hall of Famer. I think I got John Shelby coming on next week.
Okay, all right.
So you guys,
All right.
make sure you guys tune back in, and we'll see you all next week.
All right. Take care, guys.